All right.
What's up? What's up? I'm Jay Weezy, and I'm with my co-star.
Yeah, this is a Buckeye Texan right here.
Hey, man, we're here to preview the college football playoffs. Tonight is the first night. The first game tonight is Notre Dame and Indiana.
Mhm.
So we're going to be going into details about each one of these games. Tomorrow is the triple header. So we have four games tomorrow, and we got one tonight. So let's get it started.
Hey, I'm excited, man. Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for having me here, Jay Weezy. This is definitely going to be an exciting weekend. College football, the first ever college football playoff. So I think it's kind of fitting to start off with Notre Dame. Being one of the oldest and colleges and one of the most esteemed. Start off first, and the in-state rival Indiana. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be definitely exciting.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, 12 team playoffs, the new era, you know, we got
Yep.
some teams, that lost to their rivals, got a chance to rewrite their wrong, we have that. And then, you know, man, let's get, ooh, man,
Right.
I'm excited, man. I'm telling you.
Oh
So,
yeah, it's like Christmas right now, man. I think like this time of year, like it used to be, unless you were in a 14 or at a BCS, like you kind of waiting 3, 4 weeks before. Actually, we have sometimes more than that, 4 or 5 weeks for the actual bowl game, and now you have something to look forward to. It's just a good time of year. You got Christmas, you got football playoffs, and even though the playoff is not perfect, at the very least, um, I mean, I think it's what this year is what we kind of want it to be, and they can adjust as they go along. But like you said, man, I'm just hyped, ready for this game tonight. Um, looking forward to see how these teams match up, and then what kind of energy does the playoff brings. A lot of times within the past bowl seasons or whatever, a lot of times the lesser known school may not compete as well, but I'm hoping for a competitive. All the games are competitive, and hoping for some upsets. You know,
hey, I agree, So we're gonna go ahead, get into some of these games. Tonight we have Indiana at Notre Dame. Give me your take on this game.
man, this is gonna be a tough one here. I know that Indiana is, a 7 point. Well, I think the spread moved. I think it started off at 10, if I remember correctly, but it's now down to 7. A touchdown, you know, favorite for Notre Dame. And then we're dealing with sub 30-degree weather. So, but for both of these teams being from the Midwest, this is not not something that they're not used to. I mean, they're used to the cold. I think Notre Dame has a massive uh, uh, home advantage, being at their home and the crowd. And so I think my take, is going to be more so how does Indiana, for one, deal with um, the talent. There's a little bit of a talent disparity. Notre Dame has over Indiana, but will their style of play be able to move the ball against Notre Dame? It's really going to be that Indiana passing game, which is a quick passing game, more of a pro style game style. They're looking for the back shoulder throws. More of them quick slants. Timing is important in the Indiana offense. Versus that Notre Dame defense that is just lights out. I mean, they are they're big, they're strong, they fast. They got they're good on all three levels. Um, so I'm not sure how Indiana's going to be able to run the ball against that to open up that passing game. But I mean, Indiana has a great coach. Kurt Signetti has won at every level he's been to. A lot of these players that Indiana has have come from winning programs. The majority of the transfers that came in, Curtis Rourke is an excellent quarterback, big quarterback. 6'5", 220 plus. So and I think that game against Ohio State kind of helped them out a little bit in being able to deal with the crowd noise and really for their first time of playing on that level or that stage, the crowd noise and that kind of talent. So I think that will help them in this game. I just find it hard to believe them to go up and march in Notre Dame and get the win. Now Indiana is not they have a pretty decent defense too. And Notre Dame is their style play kind of fits Indiana's defensive I guess you can say their strategy. You got a running quarterback from Notre Dame. Riley Leonard can get outside the pocket. He can make plays. They got a great running game, and it starts there. If Indiana can stop that, they may have a chance. But I'm kind of seeing this I'm kind of leaning towards Notre Dame in this one here. I kind of got it at a more of a 30-20 or a 27-17 type of game. I just think that Notre Dame's athletes and that defense is going to be too much for Indiana to overcome, especially being in a road game.
I agree. Notre Dame is tough, especially on the trenches,
Hmm.
and I think they got one of the most underrated secondary in the country. So, I mean, I did, I did pick Indiana to win, but it's going to be if Indiana wins, it's going to be super close. Because Notre Dame, they're one of those teams that don't beat themselves, and they know who they are,
Right.
offensively and defensively. So I know that usually, I think the issue I have with Notre Dame is usually in the past they play a tough schedule. Their schedule shows it's tough. This year, for some reason, the teams that was supposed to be good that's on their schedule end up being bad. That's not their fault. It's
Hmm.
just it happened that you had teams that move into different conferences and stuff like that. So like USC, they moved from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a different breed of football in the Big Ten than it is in the Pac-12. So
Yeah. Man, you
I
make a
mean,
good point. Last time we seen Notre Dame, they beat USC, but they gave up 35 points. And USC, I mean, yes, Lincoln Riley is an excellent offensive mind. Um, but I have a little bit of concern. I think Indiana has a better defense than USC, and they have the same capability of being able to, um, rack up points, mainly because of their style. I mean, they're a very, very disciplined team. Everything is timing with Indiana. So if they get that going, man, this could get interesting. And Notre Dame, I mean, like you said, you hit a good point. They really haven't played a strong schedule. They even have a loss to a non-power five team. So, it's going to be interesting to see, how this chess match goes. You got the young up and coming coach Marcus Freeman versus Kurt Signetti, who's been around for a while. So, I could see Indiana. There is a path for him to win this game. And man, a big in-state game with a lot of implications, going forward. If Indiana were to pull this game off against Notre Dame, man, look, how would that, affect recruiting in that state? Um, you know, uh, just for the state of Indiana, for that university, kind of, being able to establish it really is a basketball school.
right.
Establish more of a football, or get a legacy going for them. So this is a major, major game on many levels. Um, so it's going to be exciting, but there's a path for Indiana to win this game.
I think,
You
like in
know,
my book, I feel like that I agree with you. This is a huge game for Indiana. Notre Dame, the last 3 years, especially since Marcus Freeman had taken over, been having a top 10 recruiting class. A couple years they had top five. So, I mean, they've been recruiting at a pretty high level at Notre Dame since Marcus Freeman taken over.
yeah,
I think what factors in was Marcus Freeman is younger, so he can relate to a lot of the recruits. Um, he graduated from Ohio State in 2008 9. So he played 4 years, middle line, but he was a 3 year starter. So I think he can relate to a lot of, and plus NIL too helps out as well. I think
yeah,
Indiana, I think, honestly, I think you'll see Notre Dame in this position every year. I think this game is probably more important for Indiana, as you stated, from a recruiting standpoint. Notre Dame been recruiting well the last 2 or 3 years, but this
right,
will actually help Indiana if they able to pull off this upset. Um, I'm not I'm not going to say if Indiana win is a major upset. I think like if Indiana played like Oregon or played Ohio State, I think that'd be considered a major upset. But I think they got the horses to stay with Notre Dame. But Notre Dame, for some reason, to me, I think they're tough. Um, I mean, I know you might agree with that,
hmm
but give me your take. What you think? as far as Notre Dame.
I mean, a very good team, very good ranked team, very good line. I mean, look at Riley Leonard, experienced quarterback. So, you're going to a big game with experience. Um, but again, I don't know how many big games he's played in being from Duke. Um, but he is capable. I mean, he's shown that he's capable. He's not someone that's going to really threaten you with a lot of throwing yards. He's more, he does his best when he's out of the pocket when he's moving around. And I think that's the best path to beating, Notre Dame is to make him uncomfortable back there in that pocket, make him have to, make decisions on the run. You want to kind of bottle him up, I guess, but I mean, they did win at Texas A&M. Great living game. Love their running back is, he's solid. Um, I mean, they got enough talent to go win the whole thing. But there's not gonna be no easy games in this playoff, So, um, but again, like I said, I like Notre Dame pulling this one out. I just think that they're just so tough on defense. They're strong when it comes to the running attack. Um, I mean, I've been very impressed with what they've been able to do. Um, and this is a team that too that they can jump on you quickly. I mean, they're one of the lowest rated teams in the country when it comes to third down percentage, but they don't get to third downs often because they're taking care of business on first and second down. So I mean, they
Yep,
are they are really good when it comes to staying on schedule. So and then you back that with a good defense, and I think that's going to be a theme of this playoff. A team, solid defense. There's a lot of solid defenses in this playoff.
it is.
And so we're going to see, which ones win out. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like Notre Dame in this matchup. I just think it's just too much for any of to handle at this time, this year at least.
Right. I think Notre Dame is an excellent team. I think they're one of the top five best teams in the country in my book, just the way their style of play. But you have an Indiana team as well that been probably the most consistent team in the country outside of the second half against Michigan and
Mm.
and the Ohio State game. They probably been the most impressive team. I know the schedule, people would say the schedule, but you only can play who's on your schedule in my book. Same thing with Notre Dame. Like
Mm.
their schedule haven't been tough, but you only can play who's on your schedule. Both of these two teams, I feel like that top three as far as the way they play all year. They both teams been dominant, according to their schedule. So I mean, I agree with
Absolutely.
you. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. I think I originally picked Indiana, but I think Notre Dame in the trenches. I think they're too strong for Indiana. I think Notre Dame. I picked Notre Dame by 10. I think they'll cover the spread, which is 7. So I go like 27-17.
You can look at this too. The Notre Dame was only giving up 13 this game. 157 pass through the air. They don't give up much on the ground, about 138. So, they're third in the country when it comes to total defense. Um, I just see, I see Notre Dame moving the ball a lot easier than I see Indiana moving the ball.
Yeah, because I think like you brought up a good point earlier in this conversation. Riley Leonard. His legs is that X factor for that team. Be honest with you, I wanted Ohio State to get him over Will Howard, just because for that reason. I
Yeah.
think he would have been a great fit for Ryan Day because he can also throw the ball. I think he's underrated throwing the ball. I just think he was at a school in Duke, which he doesn't have a big time athletes
Mm.
um, to throw to at Duke. So I think him throwing to JJ would have been, I think a beauty. And I think if they had him against Michigan in my book, I think it would have been a different story just because I think he has a little bit more big play capability more
Mm.
than Will Howard. He's a little bit more faster, a little bit more wiggle. So I
Now,
mean,
now I will say this: you're definitely right about Riley. I will say this though: as good as Notre Dame's defense is, Indiana's is right there too. Indiana's the number one team in the country against the run. I mean, so
yeah,
they're only getting 70 yards per game. They only gave it 850 yards rushing. Throughout the only team they gave it the whole that has not getting up 1,000 yards rushing. They're only getting up 14 points a game. So that right there, and I didn't know that. Now they have given up. 174 through the air. So they're still top 10 when it comes to that. Notre Dame is number three. But Notre Dame's getting 138 yards on the ground. So they're in the top, the top 100, I suppose, 50 or whatever. But there is a path. I mean, Indiana, if Indiana can run the ball and stop the run, they will win this game.
Right.
You know? And
Hey,
so,
Indiana's no slouch. As Ohio State. I mean, Indiana, the only reason why they lost to Ohio State is because of special teams. And
yeah.
so the game against great teams, you can't make those errors. So as long they're able to control the game, like you said, they're only giving up 70 yards on the ground. So, but I think as far as rushing, I believe this might be the most potent rushing offense they probably have went against this year in Notre Dame in my book. Nothing against Ohio State, but
Well,
Ohio State has a lot
you're
of
right.
offensive line issues. So
Yeah,
they're not as
you're right.
potent.
Yeah, Notre Dame's top 10 team rushing the ball, 224 yards a game. So I mean, this is good. We get to see good on good. You're going to see a good. I mean, because honestly, Notre Dame doesn't want right. It's like I mean, outside of Dylan Gabriel, is there any quarterback in this playoff that? Well, I mean, Ewers is still kind of hurt, but is there any QB in this playoff that can go win a game outside of Gabriel and Curtis York? So I mean, if you're gonna look at I mean, do you want Ryan Leonard to go win a game for you? If you shut
Right.
down Notre Dame's run, then Notre Dame's in trouble.
I
Now,
would say, I
Indiana
would
can run
say
the ball
one
a little
thing.
bit too.
I would say one thing. I agree with you on that. I agree 100%. Do you want Riley Leonard to go win your game? He's not. He's a complimentary quarterback. He's one of those type of guys that you need weapons around to be successful. So yeah,
Hmm.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see. It's a chess match, but I mean, now that I look at it, man, I'm probably gonna change I mean, I had 27-17 because I mean, I get 3 points to the home. Yeah, about 7 point, 10 point. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it what I got at. I think that's where it's gonna be. But I could see it's going. I could see Indiana winning this game, man. I
Yeah,
mean, we gonna know the first quarter. Indiana gonna come to play. They're not gonna stop playing hard, and they're gonna play hard. So
right.
if it's a grinded out first quarter, and that run game is not, can Notre Dame's line where Indiana's. I mean, now they are bigger. I mean, you got a lot of these guys for transfers for Notre
Yeah,
Dame,
they're
but
grown men.
yeah.
So we're talking about Indiana here, right?
Hmm.
So Indiana, yeah, they got a lot of transfers, a lot of fifth year seniors too. So they very experienced, and
Hmm.
these guys know how to win. No matter what level you at, winning is winning. You know.
Right.
So
That's
I
true.
mean, I feel
That's
like
true.
that. I originally had Indiana, but I'm going to switch to Notre Dame. But I think it's going to be a really close game. I did pick 27-17 just because I feel like that Notre Dame's running game is going to wear Indiana down during the course of the game. Those 2 or 3 yard gains going to turn into 7, 8, 9, 10 yard gains in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah, I can
that's
see
why I
that.
picked. That's why I picked
Yeah.
27-17. It can be 20-17 going into the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame
Yeah.
scored that touchdown to make it a 2 possession game at that point. So
Yeah,
that's
I can see that happen for sure. I can see that happen.
so we have we have that game. We also have the first game tomorrow at noon, SMU at Penn State. What's your takes?
Of all the games being played, um, I think this is going to be a hard one for SMU to pull out. Um, they're having to go from they haven't played in any weather less than 70 degrees this year, and they're going to go into that Happy Valley with that crowd that we know being Buckeye fans that is very very tough to get wins there, and then also too that cold, and their style play centers around the pass game. Um, I mean, so and I mean they can run the ball though. I mean they can rush that ball, but I can't see SMU. And I like the team. I like the QB Jennings, hometown guy. He's had a great year. 22 tutties, 8 INTs. Let me second 11 times. So um, and they got a decent enough defense, but I don't think who they're gonna play tomorrow. They play Clemson, but Penn State's probably a little bit more better. For one, I don't know who they're going to have to block Ivy Carter. They struggle with Clemson on that. They're really going to struggle tomorrow. Penn State is a disciplined team. Now we can talk about James Franklin and Andy Cole Nickley all you want to. Um, you know, they don't have many. I mean, their offensive weapons in the perimeter is not there. I mean, the tight end is great for them. Um, but when it comes to their style of play is going to be run. They're going to run that ball down, as throw and see if they can handle that Big Ten and big lineman in that code. Uh, and it's a team too that can constantly rotate great running backs. You got Nick Singleton, and then you come back with Katron Allen. Um,
Batman.
then Tyler Warren's a great tight end. So SMU's got their work cut out for them, man. And I just don't see them. I can't see them winning this matchup against what I deem a great, or very good Penn State team.
So
Um,
what's your prediction as far as score?
Man, this one, I Penn State at home with that rowdy crowd, man, they're going to get 30. Now, I will say this though, SMU's strength is Penn State's weakness. SMU can sling it around, they can move around the pocket. Um, you see where Oregon's offense is similar to SMU's.
Yeah.
Oregon, and then um, SMU quarterback is one of the best in the country outside Dylan Gabriel. He's top five when it comes to completion and quarterback rating. Within the 10 yards and 20 yards, that mid level, which is where they're going to attack. And so that's SMU's path to victory. The thing is, how much would a code affect them before from them able to you know attack Penn State that they want to. It's not going to be a night game, so it's not going to be as cold, in the evening time like it will be in a Ohio State Tennessee game. But it's going to be nice little, chilly. It's going to be some wind up there. But I think I think this one's going to be, probably a lot closer than what I was thinking. Um, I'm going to probably go with. Let me see here. What is the spread on this one here?
The spread is, let's see, I think it's the second highest spread. The lowest spread is ESPN has it as an 8.5 point spread.
That might be too much for this game. I think it'll be closer than that.
Yeah, it's a daytime game too. So like you said, it's not going to be as cold because it's during the day and it's a noon game too. So
I
it's
think
supposed to be 26 degrees. So
I mean,
and
it
the
just
wind
depends on
blowing is
how long it takes to get SMU for them to get revved up.
yeah,
It's Penn State. Penn State gonna be ready to play at the gate.
right.
So it could start off 14-0 Penn State, but you know, SMU's. I mean, they can fly around, man. They can make plays. They had their first kind of like similar to Indiana when they put Ohio State. SMU had their Clemson matchup, a big time opponent. And they know they know the level of play it takes to now be able to compete with those teams. But I just think Penn State being at home is going to be too tough for SMU to overcome. I'm going to go Penn State, probably 27. No, this game going to be over 30, I think. I'm thinking I'm 30 to 20 to 20, 27, maybe 31-27. I'm looking at for this game here. I think Penn State's going to be able to run the ball with ease. I think SMU is going to be able to move the ball between those in that mid tier of the field, between that 10 yard and 20 yard, that area there. I think they can attack Penn State and make big plays.
I agree. I feel like I think out of all the games, to me, I believe this one was the easiest to pick. Um, I just feel like what I seen from Penn State against Oregon was very impressive. Even though they lost, they was able to gain over 300 yards on the ground against Oregon. I think the reason why they lost against Oregon was the fact that the quarterback threw made too many mistakes. They made too many mistakes and Oregon had a couple short fields. You can't, but I agree with you on one thing though. The game is going to be close, but I feel like that if Penn State is able to win the ball, I think it'll be a 10-point game at least. I think Penn State will cover. But if
Mhm.
Penn State come out sloppy and they take SMU for granted, because SMU is a very good team
Yeah,
and they're very explosive offensively, so they can make plays. So if Penn State come out sleeping, they will lose this game. But I don't think Penn State's going to come out. I just feel like Penn State's not going to come out sluggish. I think they'll be able to run the ball. I think I agree with you. Penn State weakness is SMU strength as far as getting the ball down the field. Ohio State really didn't attack it. I don't know why, but Oregon did, and you see what happened. Um,
yeah.
so
Well, I don't think it was so much Oregon attacked downfield. I think they attacked that intermediate routes,
yeah,
and they got yak yards, and that's gonna be there. That'll be there. I mean, for
SMU got to
that's
take what's given.
yeah. But again, we're in the cold though.
Yeah,
We're not in the friendly confines of the Indianapolis or when you say all you want about Drew Aller, man, but he's had a pretty decent year.
he has. He really don't make mistakes though.
Yeah.
That's why I was shocked when he threw two picks in that game. I think that's his first career game throwing two picks. He only threw like five all year, and he threw like three or four last year. So he
Mhm.
really don't make mistakes.
No, he doesn't make mistakes a lot. I mean, last year they showed he only threw two picks last year,
27-2, right? 27 touchdown, two picks.
25-2.
25-2. So he really don't make mistakes. I
Yeah.
think I think his problem is I don't think like you said earlier in the chat, he doesn't have the receivers to get the ball down the field.
hmm
So I think Tyler Warren is that guy for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, just don't have the weaponry, and like I mean that's the thing at the knock on Franklin. They brought in Cole and Nicky to kind of help with that, but until they get some, they need some studs. Um, to be able to stretch the field. They're taking more chances this year with Aller, which is why he had a 7 picks opposed to two last year. But I like to see them with a more of a bigger average than 6 yards average per throw or 5 yards per throw like they did against Maryland and Oregon.
Right,
Get that up a little higher. Um, and in this game here, they'll have a chance, but Penn State just has to is to protect the ball and run the ball. They do that. This game's going to be they're going to get this game an easy win for them.
yep, I agree with you on that. Penn State should be able to run the ball. I think they'll be able to run the ball in this game. So to me, you said 31-27. I'll go 38-24.
Okay, good
Um,
deal.
so we have that game. So our next game is Texas versus Clemson. What's your takes?
It just depends on what Texas team is going to show up. I mean, Texas, we know what they're going to show up. Defense should show up. They're great on defense, second in the country overall. Um, that D line is huge. They're fast. They're solid. I mean, them is dogs over there. Only getting 12 points a game. Um, it's the offense for me that concerns me, and it all starts with the quarterback. And I think Quinn is still a bit hurt. I mean, obviously trying to throw that oblique, being able to turn them hips and get that ball out, especially to the right of the field. Um, whether it be the short side or whatever, it's tough for him. He does great going to the left,
Right,
you know, but and he's not, he can't. He's really not never really been a great mobile. He's not like a statue, but he's not very mobile at this time. So you got some talk about him and Arch Manning. I think the best chance for them to win is still Quinn Ewers, back there.
yeah,
Arch
I think
gives you that a little bit, a little bit of the mobile, ability, but between the ears, Quinn has the advantage right now.
Right.
Uh, and so they have to learn that running game. And Texas has got to stop shooting themselves in the foot, man. I mean, it- you got to know if you're going to have Ewers back there, if you're going to trust. I mean, the problem with Sarkisian is, he's having, Ewers is not making the best decisions because he's still hurt, so everything is late. Do that Georgia game, man. All the passes are late. Yeah, open guys, but he's still reeling from that injury, and Arch, he's not going to have that experience, so he's going to make some mistakes, so it's going to come down to can they run the ball well enough to get in to stay ahead of schedule. But in this matchup here, Clemson, I mean, Clemson's got a really good pass rush. But again, they're not a team. They're not the Clemson of old. I mean, I think people have to be careful about thinking this is the same Clemson teams that we're used to seeing. It is not. They give up north of 150 on the ground. They're getting about 365 a game. Um, SMU has a better defense. If you're going to compare it, Duke has a better defense. Um, so I mean, they're good when it comes to they're athletic up front. Um, they can make plays, but they can be had. Uh, Now they've probably been solid more so over the last month or so. I mean, playing teams like the Citadel kind of helps that out, but um, I mean, for them, it all starts with K. Klubnik, man. He's a great player, solid player. I mean, and 33 touchdowns, 5 picks. Man, I don't know. He should be in a Heisman. He should have been in a Heisman conversation. He's been sacked 20 times. So it tells you the offensive line is not good, and so
Right.
you're gonna see more pressure this game than you probably see all season. But um, dudes do 3,000 plus yards, 33 touchdowns, 5 picks, and he gets to go against Evers again, who he went up against for the state championship, and won it as a senior or as a junior, um, back in his high school days in Texas. So, but ultimately, this one here, I think will have the biggest spread. I think Texas should be able to win this game. Now, again, all of these games, there's path to victories for Clemson. Texas, starts slow out the gate, but they're so big and powerful on those fronts. I can't see Clemson overcoming that. Now, Clemson has athletes too, but I've got Texas winning this one here about 31 to 17. That's how I look at this one.
Okay. So, like, I think this one is. I agree with you. Texas, they're powerful on the lines, offense and defense. I think Texas will be able to run the ball. Um, and they've been doing a great job running the ball as of late, outside of the Georgia game. So, but but one thing I seen, if Clemson come in with the same game plan Georgia did, they have a small chance to win. And well, I mean, they need to be able to run that ball. You don't have to go 10, 11 yards per run. No, you don't. But you got to be at least semi-effective. 4 or 5 yards would do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they need to be able to run the ball, and that's what Georgia did. I think what helps Clemson is the quarterback position. He's very athletic as far as running the ball. We're talking about Nate Kleblik. I think he can run the ball. I think he's a very good thrower. Um, Texas will show things that he never seen before, as far as mixing up their packages on defense and stuff like that. Texas is
Mm-hmm.
excellent defensively, so I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I just don't trust Texas offense, but I do trust their defense, and I think I picked them 31-13 over Clemson.
Good stuff.
So prime time, game of the day,
Mm-hmm.
the best game probably in the playoffs. Number 7, Tennessee at number 6, the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Give me your take.
Man, I've been kind of going round and round with this one here, man. I think like everybody else, everybody in the country has. I mean, if you're a Buckeye fan, Buckeye, I mean, no, they're kind of leaning towards their Buckeyes. If you're a Tennessee fan, they're probably leaning towards Tennessee. But there's a lot of dynamics with this game. For one, you have Ohio State coming off one of the worst losses in their program history to Michigan, who is their hated rival, at four straight losses for Ryan Day. So just with that alone, what is Ryan Day's psyche going into this game? Because they didn't call a good game at all. Uh, and so there is concerns about if Ohio State can call that kind of game that's going to take the win it. Ryan Day has done well in the past and making adjustments, but when it comes to second time rematches, but we've seen this matchup here in Michigan, he just can't figure it out. Um, he played well against Clemson a couple of years back. They lost to Georgia, they lost to Michigan. They played well against Georgia, but lost by a field goal. Um, but there's some issues with that. What Ohio State team are we going to see, and then are they going to put where the coaches put the players in position to be successful? Now on paper, Ohio State has a better team. I mean, you talk about 16. They've got I think 16 5-star versus only 3 or 4 for Tennessee. Tennessee's more of a mid. They recruited at more of a high 3-star level. Um, but they played well. They're a great defensive team, excellent defensive team. They rotated about at least 6 or 7 on that line, maybe more than that. Linebackers are okay. DB secondary is okay, but they're not a bad secondary. They're not bad. No, they're a very good team. It starts with that front. If they get pressure on Ohio State makeshift offensive line that's got some problems right now, I mean, they're talking about they're going to rotate Shabola with Severville over on the right guard. Fryer, which was the problem with Michigan and problem since the Indiana game, since McLaughlin got hurt, is the interior. Hisman has had a little bit of an issue. I thought he plays his best at the left guard opposed to the center. But even with that, you're getting teams are getting pressure up front. And for a house to be able to do what they can do best, which is get the ball into their playmakers' hands, like Jeremiah Smith, like Emeka Ibuka. They can't do that if Will Howard's getting pressure up the middle. So they're going to put Luke Montgomery in there at left guard. We're going to see what happens, but you know, um, This is not the type of team you want to be making changes on and try to go up against.
All right.
Michigan's defense was good. This Tennessee line is a beast. I watched them play, a couple games. Now so you don't know what Tennessee team you're gonna get to show up. That's the problem with them. Now the defensive second side is balling. But it's a push because Ohio State's defense is better, you know.
Right.
So, you got a great defenses on both ends of it. So who can establish what they want to do on offense more likely? I'm leaning towards Tennessee because I think that they're running their style play will fit a low scoring game, specifically in the cold when they have one of the best running backs in the country. I mean, Dylan Simpson's averaging almost 8 yards per carry, bro. He's not a big, bulky back. He's about 5'11", 201. But he's shifty. He's fast. This will be the best running back they played against all year. And so, if Ohio State has had some, there you can get some success against Ohio State because they rushed them forward upfield so much. So if Ohio State, they have to bring Caleb in the box. And my game plan would be make Nico beat you. He doesn't throw intermediate. He throws short or deep, or he runs. So make him have to beat you. You're going. No, do you trust David Igbenogson not to get pass interference? Do you trust Dillenberg to turn his head around? If they're running the ball with success, they're going to be able to do play action. And the thing with Tennessee, man, they have a really odd offensive style. They spread you out
Sideline to
very
sideline.
wide, sideline to sideline. And to where now you're really playing, 6-on-6 or how you want to play it, 7-on-7 in the middle of the field, and you got to be able to wrap up on tackles. So
And
you
that's
know,
something Ohio State has done well all season.
right.
Um,
But you got to scheme. But you got to. How's the defense has got to be. You got to scheme to where you can't let them spread out too far out, where you can't keep Caleb Downs or let them allow Latham because Lathan and Caleb are really the two best defensive players. Allow them to be able to make plays. This is a game where they can make plays. But I'll tell you what, if Tennessee gets in third down situations, third and long situations, they'll get smoked. But they have the running game. We do not right now. We don't know what team's going to show up. We know how they're play, how they're going to call, how they're going to come out there and run and try to run up through to a brick wall, or will they try to get on the edges, or get some quarterback draw plays, get some some screens, get the defense moving a little bit, and then make them use their tempo against them. Because they're going to go tempo too. And so you're going to need a crowd to be loud in this game. Tennessee is a good team. This is not like the other matchups. This is good on good here. Ohio State
Yep.
may have a bit of edge on paper, but they're coming in a little bit wounded. Tennessee has struggled. I mean, Georgia took it to them in the second half by just throwing the heck out of the game, throwing the ball. They did come back against Alabama, but Jalen Milroe is kind of similar to what you're going to see passing with Will Howard. So, I mean, you just don't
Yeah.
know what you're going to get in this game from either one of these teams.
Right.
So I've got Tennessee. I can see Ohio State win this game. You know, but I just think Tennessee with that run game, you know, but you know what though? I'm gonna go with Ohio State though. 'Cause I feel that Ryan Day knows the pressure when it's on him. I feel like a home game, with the talent we have, I think Ohio State's gonna come out and play very inspired. That's just a feeling I have, and I think Ohio State can especially can win this game big. But I'm gonna go Ohio State, um, 31 33 to 17 or 14, 33-14. You know, um, Even if it's low scoring, it's not going to be above 20 points if it's low scoring for either team. I don't see Tennessee running the ball down Hawkey's throat the whole game. I just don't see that happening. Now on their message boards, they feel that can happen, but we know from watching them play that that's not going to happen. Um, but I can't see them getting a couple of deep balls down on Aiden Benosa and getting some pass interference calls because Ohio State just the wrong times. But Ohio State played great in that Michigan game on defense. So if Tennessee's offense, if they're having trouble, getting that ball, throwing that ball, whatever they can't, or Nico can't make plays, he's gonna make plays running the ball. But I think Ohio State come out and make a statement. I think it's gonna be 33-17. That's what I see it as.
So I'm gonna get my takes. So you have an Ohio State team that's coming in, people bashing Ryan Day, rightfully so. I feel like that him and Chip Kelly they didn't put those offensive players in position to win the Michigan game. I think Ryan Day needs to get rid of the outside noise, talking about how Ohio State's not tough, and just coach like you coached the 2022 Peach Bowl against Georgia. You've seen Ryan Day play big games, or um, the 2021 or 2020 Sugar Bowl against Clemson. What happened to that
Mhm.
Ryan Day? You know,
Yeah,
you don't have to always prove how tough you are. You go based on, I think
you
that's a
agree.
psyche thing with him. I think
Right.
Ryan Day, I don't think Ryan Day has a problem in big games. I think he has a Michigan problem. Um, and I think a lot of that is because of Jim Harbaugh, talking about how soft Ohio State is. He's not tough. Ryan Day's not a tough coach, all that stuff. And I think Ryan Day let that get to his head. I think he needs to get that. I think he can beat Michigan. He can turn this rivalry around if he just do what he do best as far as game planning. If this
Mhm.
Honestly, this would have been the best year for him to throw the ball in all game against Michigan, just because
Yeah.
Michigan didn't have the secondary, the personnel, um, but they wanted to prove how tough they are to run into the strength of Michigan's team, which was those two great defensive tackles. Which,
I think. I mean, I think some of it too, though, John is or Jay Weezy. Sorry, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to get John's Jay Weezy's original name out, the
oh,
government
you
name.
good, man? You good, man.
But nah, uh, I think some of it too. Um, I mean, and I don't cut you off. I'm going to make this quick point here. Was that I'm not so certain that they have a lot of trust in Will Howard specifically with that first interception. And maybe they were trying, maybe there's a little worry about, a little tight about, hey, we got to establish this run because we're not sure we're going to get out of Will Howard. And that's not a lie. I mean, Will Howard is. He's been good for about two dumb mistakes. I mean, he's been a solid player, but you just know throughout the game he's gonna do something dumb at least one time.
Right,
So I think some of that played into it. But again, I mean, you need him to open that playbook up and be the Ryan Day that we know we've seen.
right.
Um, because when he's at Ryan Day, he can compete with anybody.
He to me, personally, I think he's the best offensive play caller in the country, bar none. I think he done um, a lot of great things with different quarterbacks. You got a
Hmm.
quarterback that run, quarterback that can't run, quarterback that's like a statue of Kyle McCord. Like he done he done a lot of great things with different quarterbacks in my book. As far as this particular game, I think Ohio State has the best defense in the country. And I feel like Tennessee has one of the best defenses in the country as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they
I
got dog
think,
with James Pierce Jr. Man, he's a load.
yeah, James Pierce, I mean, they got him top 10. So, and I watch him play. He's super fast. He don't look big because he's
He's
tall.
not. He's not. I mean, he's more of a and that's the other thing with Ohio State. I mean, at some point we got to know. I don't really consider JT and Jack Sawyer as defensive ends because they're bigger than the tradition. I mean, maybe back in the early 2000s and 90s when you had that style that that 6 foot 3, 4, 6 foot 5, 260, 270 pound defensive end, but that's not the case anymore. You know, um, I mean,
Good,
players
especially
like
at
CJ
time.
Hicks, Caden Curry, them guys should probably be more on the edge to get more pressure. Um, James Pierce, he's almost a similar size as Abdul Carter, 6'5", 243. He's same size as me.
Right.
Perfect size for an end, long.
Yeah.
He can get up the field quickly, a lot faster than somebody who's 6'5", 270 would.
Yeah.
So you need. I mean, and Ohio State is going to have to make some adjustments with that when it comes to future games, whatever. You just need more of a speed guy at the edge, and he's that. I mean, he'll be a solid, especially in a 3-4.
Right. He'd
Uh,
be an edge rusher,
yeah,
but he also can be
yeah,
dropped in pass coverage.
right.
Um,
He's an excellent player. Love his style, play his style. He's going, and it's going against Donovan. And so Donovan's done well the last few games. So and Tennessee doesn't really get too much pressure up the middle. They have these big clogs there, but um, if you can keep Pierce under control, it just goes a long way for allowing Will Howard more time to get rid of the ball where he's not nervous or speeding up his mental clock.
right. I totally agree. I feel like that if Will Howard, to me, this is what it's going to come down to. I feel like if Will Howard gets time to throw the ball, the floodgates will open. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Ohio
that's
State has, I think, as far as perimeter athletes, running back, wide receivers, Ohio State is above Tennessee. Even though Dylan Simpson, he's an excellent running back, I think
mhm.
that Travion Henderson and Quincy Jenkins are better. Um, and I just don't think like they both average the same amount of yards per carry as Simpson.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think Perrion's definitely probably I don't. Quinshawn is still the jury's out. He's played pretty well, but the problem is though, Tennessee's line is a little better than Ohio State's line.
That's
So
true.
Simpson has a
That's
little more advantage.
100% true on that. I totally agree with you on that. I feel like that Ohio, I, so Ryan Day is excellent coming off a loss.
Mhm.
Excellent. He never lost back-to-back games outside of the two,
Last
the
year,
Michigan and then
Missouri.
the bowl game,
Yeah.
a couple of times last 2 years. But I think overall, I feel like that Ryan Day will be coaching. I think he's going to coach a great game. Him and Chip Kelly. They stated a lot that they know they made a mistake and they apologize for their mistake. And I feel like that they're going to come ready to play. I still, even they probably, as long as this 12-team playoff goes, I think they might be the best number 8 seed of all time, even 20 years from now, just because of the roster that they have. So
They most certainly got the most talent. I mean, there's
yeah,
no doubt about that. I
I
mean,
think they're
just
the most talented team in the country. They lost.
yeah.
People don't understand. Yeah, they lost 2 games. Okay, 10-2. They lost 2 games by a total of 4 points.
Yeah, but I think for Ohio State, it's the way that we have. I mean, Oregon game, that's what it is. But it's been some ups and downs. Now the offensive line issues have played a big part in all that. But we got no excuses. We are Ohio State. We should be
Right.
next man up. But you're just hoping that I think too the coaches can help these players out with this scheme too.
Yeah.
These guys don't they were highly recruited guys. Make it easy for them to not have to do all these zone blocking. Look, we're gonna go straight up. That's how we're gonna do it.
And
Push
Jeff
your
Tracy
man,
is the master of doing that.
man, push it. You block your man and push your man back, and we're gonna go from there. So they can
Yeah.
do well with that. You know, um, and like you said, Will Hartley's a little bit of time. If he has time in this game to throw the ball, they will win this. Ohio State will win this game. But again, Tennessee, that front line is where it starts out for them.
Right.
You got 6 or 7 dudes, man. I
Right.
mean, they don't get tired. They're not gonna be tired.
If I'm Ohio State, um, you don't want them to substitute a lot during the course of this game.
No, no. But you
Because
can't because
that's
it's too close.
Tennessee had like you stated, um, Buckeye Texan Buckeye. As you stated, um, Tennessee rotate 8, 9, 10 deep on the defensive line.
Yeah.
And they're very athletic and they're very good. They got speed. I feel like that can go a long way in a game like this if Ohio State's not on their P's and Q's. I feel like, but I got the gut feeling, um, you know, even though I'm an Ohio State fan, I feel like that Ohio State's I think Chip Kelly and Ryan Day's gonna call a good game. They heard it
Yeah.
from the leader of the team, put the coaches on blast, I heard. Um,
Yeah. They had
which
that they
is
had
rightfully so. I saw the defense play their hearts out, and for you to call a game like that, that's terrible.
well, you just need positive energy at this point.
Right,
Say we said today, just get some positive energy. You know what the goals are, but you can't win without everybody, having the same focus and goal. And look, Tennessee's a good team. And honestly, I had Tennessee win this. You know how I've been saying all week. I thought Tennessee's gonna win this game.
right,
But I just think that you hear about the energy coming out of the Woody. You hear about all the negative. I mean, just a ton of negative. There's always a lot of negative publicity on Buckeye, Ohio State Nation, Buckeye Nation. Some of it
right,
is warranted. I mean, because Ohio State has crazy fans that's going to talk stuff and
right.
we're the most where our shit don't stink and all that stuff like that. But look, end of the day, these players that they play hard. Ohio State had the most scholar All Americans, scholar athletes on the football team out of the Big Ten. These are good kids, and so I just think that you put some energy behind them. And I don't think that this is everybody calling them soft, whatever. And they're not a soft team. I mean, look, because you lost Michigan, you soft. I mean, Michigan won 13-10. So I mean, what's the level of soft in that? It won by 6 last year. I mean,
Right.
like we're just narrative, of soft because we lost the game. You know, um,
In my book,
we soft. We lost Georgia by 1 point. I mean, I
right.
don't get that narrative, but
Yeah,
to me, at the end of the day, these dudes have been hearing so much about how much we suck. You got all these people outside of how all these negative people saying how much we're that bad, but yet we're one of the best. If they beat us, it's a great win for them. But I think these players hear that. And these aren't the basic players. These are most of them are be lottery picks. Most of them are top 5 players in high school. You know,
uh-huh.
so you want to awaken as an athlete. As a competitor playing sports.
Yeah,
Next thing I need, no, you want to doubt you want to come at me. Now you just made me be super focused, whatever. Now
right,
it's you. Like, and so I think that when I heard and they started hearing all that, that's like, man, know what? I think Ohio State's gonna win this game because yeah, you're not gonna know. You can't come out no winners like that. Ohio State's not losers.
right,
Tennessee
exactly.
lost 20
Team,
something years
they're the
and
greatest
they haven't
football
won
team,
anything.
they're the greatest college team of all time based on winning percentage. So,
Right. So you're gonna come at us like that. But like I said, I mean, Tennessee's a good team, a very good team. So Ohio State will have to go and earn it, and so this is all predicated on them, calling a good game and playing, to the level that we feel they can play to, even with the banged up offensive line.
yeah, I feel like
Everybody at this time of year, everybody's hurt. So like, look,
exactly. I mean, it's football. You know how it is. You play football. You know what I'm saying?
right,
You play sports. You're a
yeah,
competitor. You know, like you said, at the end of the year, everybody's hurt. I mean, it is what it is at this point. You know,
right.
the person with the driving and determination will win this game. I just feel like Ohio State has the better offense, even though Tennessee averaged more yards and points. Most of that, I mean, it's easy to average 37 points a game and 475 yards a game when you play teams like NC State, the Citadel, Kent State, McNeese State. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, those numbers are boosted based on a 73 nothing win, 51-10 win, 67 nothing win, you know? So, I mean, those numbers are inflated. Look what they did in, like you mentioned, when we was talking earlier in the week, you mentioned about the points Tennessee scoring in SEC play. They average 25 points a game in SEC play. Those are the numbers.
Right.
Those are the numbers you want to look at because they lost to an average Arkansas team 19-14.
Yeah. I mean, they're Jekyll on high, man. You just don't know what you're gonna get, with
Right.
Nico. He's a young player. He's got great talent. I mean,
Does.
about that. I mean, but you never know. I mean, he could have one of these best games. Now, he's a California kid. He ain't played nowhere like this.
Right.
Tennessee has not played has not played in any weather lower than 62 degrees in like 50 something years. So people saying, that weather ain't gonna factor. Yes, it will be a factor if
Right.
you ain't playing that cold. Like this is real football, So if that ain't something you ain't used to, it's gonna be a problem for you, So um, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a good matchup. Tennessee's a good team. Josh Heupel's a good coach. They also struggle on the road too. We forgot about that point too. They're not a very good team on the road over Heupel's tenure. So I think it's more of a tall task for Tennessee to win this game on the road than it is a house to win it at home.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think, I mean, people say weather don't play a factor in football. It does. Especially how many times we seen, you can attest to this. Um, Dallas went to Green Bay in a playoff game, in the 90s to play Brett Favre and get killed because
Miami
right,
in
look at
Buffalo.
Miami. Lost 11 straight games, you know,
Yeah,
as far as they lost 11 straight games in
yeah.
sub 40-degree weather.
It's hard
So,
to win that close, man.
which is crazy. I mean, that makes a huge difference, man. And then hearing the weather, it's supposed to be 26 degree with a will feel of 18. So that's cold. Uh,
Right.
I thought about going to the game because the tickets are so cheap. Shoot, hey, I don't want to go in that cold.
Look, I got against Tennessee fans, man. They buy up all the tickets, man. I mean, one thing we don't want is the stadium to be 50% Tennessee. 50, I mean, that's not a good look for Ohio State.
Right.
I so I encourage any fan if you can get the tickets and go to the game, man. Support the Buckeyes. Let's pull this one out and then see if we can make a run.
I agree. I think these kids, man, they put their heart and soul into this university. They came back. They all came back with one goal in mind is to win a national championship. They still have that in front of them. I feel like that overall, if they play their A game every game, I think they'll win a national championship just because of the roster that they have.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like that in the two games that they lost, they played their absolutely worst games of the year in those two games. And looking back on that, they only lost by a total of 4 points. I mean, they played against Oregon, they played terrible. Turnovers, you know what I'm saying? Onside kick, penalties, at wrong times. Just and that was against Oregon. At Oregon, where the crowd is loud and
yeah,
only lost by 1 point. And then look at Michigan. Two of Michigan's three scoring drives came. The touchdown came on a 2 yard line, and then
mm,
the one field goal they went 4 plays, 7 yards to kick a 56-yard field goal. The only drive they had that was good was that last drive that took up almost 8 minutes in time.
yeah,
So I feel like that Ohio State. It takes other teams to play a perfect game to beat Ohio State. I think I think the Michigan game woke Ohio State up. I think the coaching staff needed to hear from the players. Um,
Mm,
you really don't hear about that, but I think that I applaud the coaching staff to sit there and listen to the players.
right.
Um, so I feel like you pick Ohio State 33-14. I'll pick Ohio State 35-14. I feel like that. I think Ryan Day is going to call Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. I think they're going to rewrite their wrong. They're going to send the seniors out the right way at Ohio Stadium. And so I feel like that Ohio State offense, I think they're going to call a great game plan. And I think they're going to be more creative in the run game. I think I see more of the running game I think they're going to, that they did against Penn State versus what they did against Michigan. I think they learned a lesson. So
Good,
I
good,
pick
good.
Ohio State 35, Tennessee 14. Will Howard, I think, is going to play a pretty good ball game because I think he's going to get the time. Because their issue is not pass blocking. If you pay
Mhm,
attention to these games, the issue is not pass blocking, it's run blocking up the middle. And instead of running, like you said, one thing that you said that was perfect, quit running the zone schemes. Run right
mhm,
up, like run right at them. Because then you don't have to think so much. Make it easy for these players when you call these plays.
mhm.
So I think, especially you
Good,
got talent like that, you want to make it as easy as possible when you call these plays. So I think Ohio State is going to win. I expect a big game from J.J. Smith. Um, so I pick Ohio State 35, Tennessee 14. I think the weather is going to play a factor as well.
good deal, brother. Well, man, that's we'll see what happens. But that's the first. I mean, sometimes that's the first round of our matchups. I mean, we probably should do this again after after the games are over with this weekend and revisit and see what how we did and what we look forward to in the next round.
Hey, I agree, brother. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Deuces.